Veterans, DKV employees, everybody here at the VeteranLink YouTube channel, thank you. Thank you for your support. If you've commented, liked, shared, and all that other good stuff, heck, just being here is fantastic. I am your friendly VA accredited attorney, Matthew Lang, as always. Hey, we got so much information that moves around back here that we try to keep track of in the process. And as we try to teach and educate more about VA disability in order to make a process smoother between veterans and VA alike, we realize that we can't always stick to just videos and teachings of the laws and the rules, which there'll be plenty of those coming too, especially with some changes that I'm hearing coming down. But we need to focus in on some of the news releases out there too, I believe, that really kind of highlight, maybe indirectly even, some stuff that we can focus in on and fix together between VA and everybody involved. So myself and my team is always out there looking for information, trying to watch the changes as we help all the veterans that come to us for help. It's definitely it's a heavy task, but we're definitely up for it. So while we do that, I do have an article here I want to share with you. I'm going to put the link in the description for you to read. It's a small article, couple minute read, if that. It comes from the VA news site. So this is from the VA's own website here at news.va.gov. It came out, it looks like it's in the February edition, but it's dated January 21, 2026. This article is titled, "Here's How to See Attorney and Agent Fees Paid by VA." Now, I don't know the exact off top here right now what the reason or the logic is behind this transparency, but I think it's great to see this transparency from the VA at the same time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through this article with you. We're going to revisit some stuff we visited before in the past to help explain it. And I'm going to give you just my educational, unique view from what I took from this article and how we can better our program here with the VA disability world. More like the idea of how this article really shows us how big the problem may really be, or at least a part of it. So let's do that. So this article here, again, dated January 21, 2026, in the February VA News release on their website. It states here at the beginning of this month, the Department of Veterans Affairs website and social media channels will show the amount of money it is legally obligated to send to VA accredited attorneys and claim agents who have assisted veterans with their disability claims. While paying attorneys for their services out of the money owed to the veteran when a claim is granted is nothing new, sharing the data with the public is. And it's quite striking, as they say. And I thought it was quite striking too. So maybe they caught on to what I caught on to, and I'm hoping they did, because if they did, it just helps us again to address the issue. So let's put it out here for, again, veterans, you, VA, you as well. Let's see if you see, kind of see what maybe the VA is seeing, maybe what I'm seeing, and let's have a discussion over it. Let's see how we can ultimately make that change for a better process in the future. So the article is going to go through, and it talks about the idea that veterans can hire VSOs, they can hire accredited attorneys or accredited agents. And it talks about this 20% that the VA may be legally obligated to pay. Now, let's go back just a step here and kind of refresh what we've talked about before. And I believe others have also mentioned in other videos, but you got to remember the setup and the design with the rules for the basic part here is that VSOs provide a free service. Why? Well, they get their funding perhaps through other government funding, other nonprofit means as well. So their role is not to charge veterans for the services they provide and helping for VA claims. Now, excuse me, that is a great tool out there, I feel. But there's only so many VSOs, just like there's only so many, attorneys and accredited agents, but there's only so many VSOs, and many of the VSOs that I'm running into and talking to, even just in the local area here, I'm learning how thinly stretched they are. They're really trying to cover down on some serious territory just in the area, and I think what's happening is they're getting overworked because there's so much work that's being generated. Well, perhaps even by the errors that are caused within the VA system. Now, right now that's the nature of the system, but let's see if we can't clean that up a little bit. So veterans, you get the option then of seeking out accredited attorneys like myself or accredited agents. Now, we're bound by a different set of rules when it comes to payment. We have to bill you, veterans, for our work. We can't bill you for everything, though. There is one thing I'm going to mention here that the article talks about is, veterans, if you want to file a claim that's brand new that you've never filed before. So let's say you've got some other claims out there. You've maybe filed bilateral knees and maybe some bilateral ankles or something, and now you want to file your back, and you've never filed that before. Well, that's a new claim. That's a claim that has not been decided by the VA before. So since it hasn't been decided by the VA before, as an accredited attorney, myself and the other accredited attorneys and the other accredited agents out there are not allowed to charge you for that claim. Now, where the billing of that claim may appear is if the VA gets it wrong and you want to appeal that claim, or we feel by representing you that the appeal is definitely necessary because there's a lot of errors in the decision, or just one or two errors perhaps even, then that falls underneath this contingency fee. So that's how we usually get paid, this contingency fee. Now, this is just the basics. There's a couple of means in there too, but we can charge up to 33 1/3% on a contingency fee, especially for like supplemental claims, higher low reviews, BVA appeals, and all that kind of stuff there. So in basics, we can charge this high. Now, the VA has said, well, even though you can charge that high, we will only pay fees that don't exceed 20% on the contingency fee. And this is kind of 20% was long-standing with the VA for a long time before the rule got changed to 33 1/3. And so I feel like they kind of just held their ground on that 20% and said, we're not going to change from there, which is totally fine. Totally fine. It's still a good option that we like to use for veterans in order to keep some stress off, and we don't have to worry about, moving money between ourselves and the veteran and adding that additional stress. Oh my goodness, did you get the payment? How much do I owe you? And all that stuff. VA will do all that calculation. So when it comes to these 20%, the VA ultimately will take 20% off of the back pay that gets secured on the win, say on an appeal. And the rest of that, veterans, is yours. The rest that goes to you, the 20% goes to the accredited attorney or agent. And it's that 20% that they're paying directly to that attorney or agent here, veterans, that this VA, this article is talking about. So while you have these options, there's different ways of potentially being paid underneath the rules. We look at the 20%, and here's where the VA says every month VA will post the amount of money it has paid the attorneys and agents during the last 12 months. The monthly average over the last 12 months and the amount paid during 2 previous months. Our goal, as I say, is to show veterans where the money goes, why VA pays it, and the amount we pay. So they've given, right after that paragraph, exactly what they said they were going to give. Now, it starts out within the last 12 months. Now remember, this is only the 20% piece that the VA pays out, according to this article. The last 12 months, VA has paid accredited attorneys and accredited agents $394.7 million. $394.7 million is what they're reporting. Now, that's, again, not including the other payments that are outside of what the VA pays. But just the VA alone has paid $394.7 million in 12 months, last 12 months. So Does it sound like a lot? Well, I think it should. And I think this is where we go back to the idea when the VA, says it's quite striking, because I find that quite striking. So let's just start with that number before we move in the other ones. If we took 394.7 million, now that's just 20% of the back pay. I think the question here is how much then is the back pay that was paid out in 12 months? In 12 months, VA has paid out, if you do the math, and if I've done it correctly, and if you feel I haven't done it correctly, please feel free to throw in the comments and correct me, because I'm not a mathematician, so even I can make mistakes. But if $394.7 million is only 20% paid from the back pay, then we're talking something along the lines of $1.97 billion in back pay have been paid out in the last 12 months then. Nearly $2 billion paid in back pay. And I think that's what's really striking here, because this 20% is paid on appeal. So if VA is paying out almost $2 billion a year total back pay before even calculating off the 20%, that leaves me in a moment of going, wow, that's a lot of errors. That's a lot of appeals a lot of work being overturned. That's a lot. That to me demonstrates that the system is not smooth at all. In fact, that shows there's a lot of correction needed, because that means nearly $2 billion that is owed to veterans has been delayed. Veterans should have been receiving this who knows how long ago based upon this report here. And I think it really speaks in more volumes when we go to the monthly average over the last 12 months. So when you average it out, it's $32 million. $32 million. So $32 million. $32 million on average is paid out. And if we say every month 32 million is the average, then we're really talking about a total back pay amount being paid out of something along the numbers of $160 million. Every month, the VA is paying out $160 million in mistakes. What can we do to fix that? And that's what we're really here to do. How can we improve that? Why so many mistakes? What has gone wrong? Are the laws that hard? I think they can be tricky, yes. The basic foundation after working in the VA for as many years as I did? No. Seeing the bad and the ugly that I have? Maybe there's something else we can do. But it's not for me to give the opinion here. I'm just pointing out the perspective. And even the VA said it was striking in their own article. Then it gave the 2 months, like it said, November 2025 and December 2025. November 2025 was $29.4 million paid out, and December 2025, 35.3 was paid out. Million was paid out. So, VA, let's work together. Veterans, let's help the VA as well. Because what I don't know by looking at this number, and I would assume from my bad and ugly point of view back here, is that a lot of this is from just VA error, not reviewing evidence, not following the law, not getting adequate medical opinions, duty to assist errors left and right. But veterans, I can't take you completely off the hook, though, because maybe there's some evidence that got missed along the way, or you didn't provide to your rep that was needed, and eventually you went and did it, like, say, maybe getting some of that diagnosis or treatment from your primary care, VA healthcare, or outside of that system. So who knows what the exact reasons are, but I think this is a good point to look at and go, we've definitely got to do better, and we got to fix the system. So VA says here, while VA is posting data starting today, and it says it will break down by calendar year, state, and congressional district. That is kind of interesting as well, because I think maybe that is going to kind of show us maybe what offices are making the most mistakes. When we see which offices, I mean, if we're breaking it down by state, wow, how enlightening might that be? It says here, we believe making this information available to the public is an important step to ensuring veterans have the tools and information they need to make the best decisions regarding their claims. So I think maybe if we were to presume what the VA's attempt here by making this public, what their attempt to do is to try to show you which attorneys are, well, winning more cases, what agents are winning those cases. Which is interesting to me if that's the case, because what about the VSOs? Which VSOs are winning the cases? Why wouldn't the veteran have the opportunity to choose which VSO more so in maybe a similar report? And I think it becomes challenging because they don't get paid directly by the VA. So just enlightening. I think this is something that we can look at in a lot more detail here as we go. I'm hoping for these reports to continue. I'm hoping to see more. I believe this is going to really highlight, again, which VA office is making the most mistakes, which ones has the most appeals being paid out. Yeah, where's it all at? So let's continue this conversation at some point. But for now, I just want to share that article with you in the VA disability realm, just so that we can think about, especially from the VA perspective, what can we do? What can we do to make it better? How can we improve the system? What is going wrong that is ultimately costing veterans $160 million in delayed benefits every month? So who knows? Who knows? Food for thought, everybody. Food for thought. I'm going to wish you a fantastic Tuesday. We're going to move on to the next thing I've got to do today. And I hope to see you back here on another Tuesday. We're going to start doing more shorts, as you've probably already seen as well. We're going to start trying to improve a lot more of our videos here, getting into things. But if you ever have a topic you want to hear about, throw them in the comments. Also, if you've been to my website, you might have signed up for the newsletter there. If you haven't seen the newsletter yet, I apologize. I'm trying to get some functionality to work that seems to not be working anymore for me. I do get to play IT back here as I try to play lawyer too. So give me some time on that. But if you haven't, feel free to sign up for that. We also want to get you veterans and everybody like VA and everybody who signs up for it some additional information that we see like this in the news, more of a newsletter format than as well as talking about it. So anyhow, check that out too. Give me some time. If you haven't seen that yet, pop up, but I'll definitely get those out to those who signed up eventually here. So thank you again. Have a wonderful day, veterans, VA, everybody. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next Tuesday.